Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Sylvia and I make videos on planning with the occasional review. Today's video is going to be a setup for week 14. I'm honestly not even sure if it is actually week 14. I'm just so out of it, y'all. Okay, so yes, week 14. Here's the thing. Today is Tuesday. We are on Tuesday of week 14, second day of the week, and I am just, yeah, you know what I mean? Do you know what, okay, so here's the thing. I think that this needs some context, right? Because you can't just, all right, so here's the thing. I don't watch the Oscars, and I know you're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this. I'm sure that you yourself, being interested and invested, have gone and searched all of the interweb and all of YouTube on this topic. I myself have done this, or maybe you're just healthier than I am and you didn't need to do that, and good on you, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. So I didn't watch the Oscars live, but I certainly saw what happened after, later that night. And then, of course, after Will Smith ended up slapping Chris Rock on national television, I was like so livid, first of all. And then second of all, I kind of just went into shock. And I was like, what is happening right now? Because Will Smith has always just been darling, right? And it just was so shocking. And a lot of people didn't know if it was real or not. And of course, once Will Smith started yelling, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth," we all knew that this was like, I mean, at least I did. I knew that this was real. And I was horrified for Chris Rock. And I was embarrassed for Will Smith. So, that sent me down a spiral. And let's talk about the planning a little bit first, and then I will get back to why this is important and relevant to my planning. Anyway, I have been using this guy. This is my A6 Lectern 1917. So I just refer to it as the A6 1917. I'm also using these, what are they called? Friction point knocks in a 0.4. I don't know why I can get that down. I got a whole set of these off of Amazon, and so I ended up moving to this one, which is really pretty, but I moved to it because my other one was out of ink. And instead of figuring out and trying to find out where my ink cartridges are for this, I just picked up the other color because I'm lazy. So that is what I'm currently using. This goes over here with this guy. Now I'm going to show you what I already set up. It's just the same standard setup that I have been doing, and I did a video, kind of like a speedy up quick video, not that far back, if you want to go back and look at it, on all the products that I use when I set up my dailies and all of that jazz. So I've gone ahead, set them up for the full-on week, which I did right. Yes, it's week 14 here. I had this page in between these last week and this week where I thought maybe I'll put some sticky notes and try to do some type of weekly something, because here's the thing. I got really, really busy. It's Camp NaNoWriMo, and I am currently doing 50K, and I'm drafting a new novel. So last week in this guy, that's when we come back to the Hobonichi weeks, I didn't even set up my week, you guys. I mean, look at it. I had all of the intentions to do so, and I just fell off and got super lazy and focused on other things. It was also spring break, so we were home a lot. Jade and I, one of these days, cleaned out my laundry room, and then another day we took and cleaned her whole room from top to bottom. And then I think a couple days she was just with her mom and her brother, and they went and did some things as well. So I just had like sort of a lazy week when it came to planning, but I got stuff done. I just did it, and I didn't think about it, and I didn't write it down. Does that make sense? I think that happens to a lot of people. Now we come to this week. So last week was fine. I mean, did stuff. I had a really lazy day here where I didn't even finish filling out stuff because there wasn't really anything to write. We just chilled at home. And I like having more of a lazy lifestyle, which tends to happen towards the end of the year when school is coming to an end. Excuse me, I meant the end of the school year, not the end of the year. We're barely at the beginning. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to sit down and mention that not having this weekly for week 13 really messed up my whole entire life. And I was kind of losing some things here and there. I was losing track of stuff. And now I'm deciding that I need to reincorporate this little planner back into my life with this planner. Because this one is just like my daily stuff, where I make a little note of my day and then I just write down some daily tasks. This one is more on the go with me, but I haven't really been on the go. I've been chilling at home. So I felt like, oh, I don't have to use it. But I do a lot of tracking on here that didn't get done. And then I felt like a bad panda. You know what I mean? If you can imagine the face of a bad, sad panda, that was me. So I thought I would go ahead and set this up since this has already been set up and talk a little bit about how I have just, the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock has sent me into this spiral of shitty TV watching and YouTube watching, and I'm just focusing on the wrong things, you guys, and I need to be focusing on writing. And I think a little bit of it is procrastination, and I'm just like, oh, squirrel. And all I've been doing is watching the squirrel. And it's just like, Sylvia, you've got to focus on other things. Okay, so what I want to do here with this guy, I'm going to zoom in just a smidge so you can see a little bit better, is just set up for the week. And I'm going to take out these guys here where I thought, oh, maybe I can do weekly tracking in here. And maybe I'll try that for next month or something, but I'm too busy to care right now, to be perfectly honest. And you can draw this stuff out in here, but I don't know. Every time I draw it out, it doesn't really work out for me. So I'm going to try the sticky note thing and see how that goes. The other thing is I usually have this sticky note that's my running to-do list, something like this. I'll have one or two of them. And okay. Just a note to myself. And I kind of missed this little sticky note. So there's nothing wrong with all of you out there that might be watching this saying, hey, I want to keep a small little daily as well. And you find that, oh, I need some weekly something somewhere, right? You can use a sticky note like this. You can even use a small one like this and move it from day to day, just with your weekly goals or what have you. You know what I mean? And that way, every single day you can just go and have this and move it throughout the week. Nothing wrong with that. I really miss this guy. So somewhere in the back of here, I do keep this like running list of all of the books that I've been reading, because I'm trying to read 52 books in 52 weeks, right? And I missed book 13. This is out of order because I had started to write this list down of all the books I wanted to read in order, and then that didn't happen around here. I started reading books out of order, so I rearranged the numbers. I'm not crazy. Okay, so over here for week 13, I need to figure out what book I read because I didn't write it down. I think it was an audiobook, and I just, for some reason, was spacing it out. So I'm already currently on week 15, which means that I'm technically going to be 1 week ahead of the curve, which is nice. Right now, last year, I think it was like 14 books. So look at me now. I'm already going to be on book 15. So technically, I've already caught up with my entire number of books that I read for last year, which is pretty sad. But I got a lot of writing done, so there's that. So I need to do that. And that's part of this little list that I have here. I usually have all of these books that are sort of on deck, kind of like you would do with a Kanban board, which is another thing that I will share quickly. So if you haven't seen my Writerly channel, is this kind of fit in frame? We're going to make it fit. I went ahead and I talked about the setup of this and how I set it up for my writing project for Camp Nano. And so I've just sort of been moving things from this column, and this column over here to completed. And that's not how a traditional Kanban board works. And I talked about that too, because this is more of a mashup of all of my planning for NaNoWriMo as well as the actual project and what I want to get done, if that makes sense. And I'm feeling pretty hard at Nano right now, and it's okay because there's plenty of time to catch up. It's okay. But it's happening a little bit slower, this book, because it's a little bit more complex. I'm writing a looper mystery, looper meaning that the day repeats, and it is a lot of fun. It's something that I wrote the outline for a year ago, and I have been so excited to start, but it's kind of slow. And I'm okay with that. I think if I wasn't as seasoned of a writer as I am now, I'd probably be a little panicked. But I know that I'm going to make it up and it's not going to be a big deal. So positivity, that's where we are. I don't even know where my little stickies are to work on this. So Wilder Girls, I'm almost done with. This book and Lord of the Flies took me forever to get through because they are a little bit darker and I just wasn't feeling that. So I've just been reading them here and there in between these, reading and also listening to other audiobooks. Do you guys do that also? It's just what I have to do in order to get through things. And I think that's okay. It's okay. Yes, I'd like to be more of a linear reader where I just stuck with one. But that's not the case. I also read Michelle Obama's book, Becoming Michelle Obama, I think is what it's called. Or is it just called Becoming? Whatever. Sorry, I knocked over something. Anyway, you know what I mean. And I really loved it and I highly recommend it. It does start off slow, which people said, but I think it's absolutely worth the read. It is worth the read. I thought it was a really great story and I'm glad that I read it. Anyway, moving on. So my weekly tests, this is usually where I write out the things that I want to check off every single day, which is writing. I do have this little stamp here that I am using for my writing, and I'm going to go right after today. This is what also threw me off. Okay, you guys, basketball has been out of control. First of all, we had the girls' championship, and UConn lost, which I was excited about because they have enough titles and it's somebody else's turn. Then we had the boys basketball game yesterday. I say boys, excuse me, men. Men's basketball game championship yesterday, and Kansas won, which, I mean, it's okay that they won, but I kind of wanted a little bit of revenge for them screwing up my bracket for so many years. I also like North Carolina, but you know, whatever. So I didn't even write this day. I got so incredibly distracted with other things, and that's also put me behind. I know, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So if you are also in that situation where you're like, I'm doing a challenge and you miss a day, it's like, okay, you missed a day, but you don't just give up and say, oh, I'm going to do it next week or next month, right? You just pick up from where you are, and that's what I'm doing. So it's okay that I missed that first day. I'm going to make it up. So I don't need to put writing here because I already have this. That's the point of me taking that out, if that wasn't clear, because I know I'm kind of somewhat rambling. Now here I want to do some other things. I also pulled out one for chores. So Jay and I are going to be cleaning out the entire kitchen because he has the day off, and that means sweeping and mopping, cleaning out all of the old food out of the fridge and out of all of the cupboards. Do you say cabinets or cupboards? People laugh at me sometimes because I say cupboards, but I think it's because my mom's sort of old-fashioned and that's what she says. That's what she says. So anyway, we're going to be doing the kitchen today, and even if we don't finish everything completely, then we're going to do it tomorrow. So I feel like that means that we can use this because we might have to do this for 2 or 3 days, and that's fine. Also, I want to clean the bathroom. And I always label them 1 and 2 because we have 2 full baths. And sometimes I like to clean them both on the same day, and sometimes that doesn't happen due to my laziness and out of control of watching ridiculous things like the whole arguments of Chris Rock and Will Smith. And it's like, I've watched every single one of them, but I'm telling you, I don't know why I'm so captivated. It's absurd. I should be ashamed. Anyway, I also want to do a couple, oh, I know what I want to do. So I'm going to put my audiobook here, and that way, even if it changes as long as I'm listening to the audiobook, which I did yesterday, so I can mark that off. Am I going to mark off with an X? Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then we have, what else? My physical book. I need to be reading pages. So currently, the Family Mystery Book Club is reading Finley Donovan is Killing It. And so I just got this a couple of days ago, so I haven't read it yet. I am finishing up Wilder Girls. I only have about 45, 46 pages. And because basketball has been back to back, I've done no physical reading for the last couple of days. So I don't get to mark that off. Aw. But once I'm done with that book, which honestly I could finish that today, but I have to catch up on writing, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be moving into reading this book. Moving in? I don't know why I said that. Anyway, this book sounded like a really cool read. So it's about a mother of two, I believe, and it says, most moms are ready to kill someone by 8:30 a.m. on any given morning. So she's actually, I think... I read, it doesn't say on the back of this one, I think I read it on Amazon. She's basically pitching her book. She's a struggling novelist. She's pitching her book to her editor, and somebody in the booth next to them, this place that they're eating, hears parts of the conversation and thinks that she is a contract killer, and then they slip her a note with an address and an amount to hire her as a contract killer. And I thought that that was hilarious. And she's, I guess, obviously going to be taking them up on this. And who knows what they're going to have her do, or who they're going to have her kill, if she's actually going to do it or not. But it sounded like a really cool premise. So I am very interested and excited to read this. This is, of course, the first book in the series, and there's already 2 books out. And I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be an actual series or if it's a duology, but I mean, my library has it marked as a series, so we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for that. Also, that means up here I should probably write this, right? I should write that I want to get to this at some point. Okay, so what else I have to write down? I'm going to kind of do some backlogging here, and I like to divide my page with just a line pencil. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to backlog a few things that happened yesterday, since I didn't technically even bother to set up or plan in here for week 14. Okay, so we were talking about shame after the Will Smith thing happened, and if you're interested on my stance on it, I think Jim Carrey said it best when he said, you cannot go on stage and assault someone because they said words, right? Jim Carrey is a legend, and I absolutely agree with everything he said in his interview. I'm sure you can find it if you haven't already seen it. I highly recommend looking it up. He was brilliant about the whole situation. So in between, I don't know why I put a period, that looks weird. In between the writing sessions, we went and did some hills, because I live on a hill that's probably, I would say, like 1/4 of a mile like this, out of control, just like straight up. So we did a couple of hills in between, and then I usually do at least one hill no matter what, to go pick up my niece from the bottom of the hill and walk her back up when she gets off the bus. And then over here, I like to just write a little bit of a note. Okay, so that's good. And then moving on to today. So I actually was interested in watching Bad Vegan because people were talking about it, and I don't know the actual, I don't know, was it a documentary or whatever, about the guy and the tiger guy, or whatever his name is. I had no desire to watch that because normally I don't watch that kind of stuff. I'm not interested in ridiculously absurd characters, right? And so it was a pass for me, and people were watching that, and a lot of people were blaming it on the fact that it was COVID. But I think people watch really gross, raunchy stuff sometimes. It is okay to say that. But I didn't watch it because I just wasn't interested. So I actually decided to watch Bad Vegan because I did plant-based for a year, and I found that it was so incredibly helpful, and I learned a lot about myself and a lot about food and how I can do without less dairy. I wanted to watch it, but also you know how you pick up bits and pieces of things, which I'm sure people have also picked up bits and pieces of the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock thing and haven't really watched anything and feel like they know what's going on, even if you don't. But I thought from what it was talking about, and they were talking about this dog that she wanted to live forever, and it seemed very cult-esque. I honestly thought, oh my gosh, is this like where a vegan person loses it and she's like feeding her dog to people or something? It was just a weird premise, and I was like, wait, what's happening? So I had to watch it because I was interested, and it's actually not what I thought it was going to be, and I highly recommend it. It was actually really good. It's very short, and actually I ended up watching it in one day. Jay and I went to bed early, like at 7:30. We were really tired. We had a long day. I put it on thinking, you know, he's probably going to fall asleep early. And we ended up staying up until like 1 or 2 in the morning watching the entire thing. And it was pretty good. And I think it's an interesting conversation. So I highly recommend it. So this is some of the things that I want to get done for today. And I mean, kitchen cleaning, that is one thing you will see repeated for the day, but the rest is all a little bit different. Sometimes this happens. Let me know how you feel about things that repeat. I know that I don't like to always have to rewrite things, but sometimes, depending on where I'm going to look, because sometimes I don't open all of the planners that I have, I need to have duplicates in case I don't open one. All right, so that's basically where I'm at right now. Again, I don't really have anything scheduled for today. When I run out of space here in this column, I'll just add stuff over here to the side if I have space, which I do. I need to send out an email for the book that we chose for this month. We're already on day 4, but we were all just so busy that we just didn't get to it till now, which I know is terrible, but they're family, so they'll forgive me. I need to add other things here, and I'm going to look through this as I'm talking to find other stuff to put on these 2 Post-its. Okay, sorry, we got cut off. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, all of these suggestions I was getting, because you know how like when you click on one like food recipe or one cooking video, then you get like 50 of them. I got bombarded by all of this really raunchy, ridiculous stuff that I really didn't want to watch. And the Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee clips on Hulu of their miniseries was one of them. And I said I didn't want to watch it because, you know, they had their sex tape stolen, and we can all argue that they shouldn't have made one, but it was a private property in their own home and it was stolen. So I really didn't want to watch that. And then here we are. I watched the first 2 episodes and I was not prepared because I didn't watch anything else on it other than the quick, you know, couple of, like, I don't even know, it was a 2-minute clip. I didn't know there was going to be full frontal nudity, which I'm totally fine with, but there is. So that was kind of like, oh, and also like, of course, we're talking about, you know, people's tapes, right? So, that was shocking to me. And then also on top of that, Tommy Lee's little boy, his private parts, talk to him, like literally like this. Are you laughing hysterically or horrified? I don't even know. Anyway, and I was not prepared for that. And I just busted out laughing in the middle of the night because Jay was already sleeping and I was watching this at like, I don't know, midnight, 12:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep and I was like, I'm going to put this on and see what it's about. And I was just laughing hysterically. I wasn't offended by it, but I was not expecting this. And it was just, I mean, it just goes to show you that even though we like celebrities, we're never really going to know who they are, right? It's the same thing we say about our partners. Like, there are people who have lived with people their whole lives and never knew that they were gay, never knew that they were a serial killer, never knew that they weren't in love with the person, right? They were cheating the entire time. And everyone seems to be quite shocked, and we're always like, oh, they had to have known. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe they are complicit. I don't know. Until they get caught, who knows? But it's just, the reality of being a celebrity is just, we're just not on the same level. And as much as they try to have the Oscars for people You know, that's what a comedian's job is, to kind of, you know, poke at these very rich celebrities that are on another level, just to be like, oh, they're just like us. They're nothing like us. They're not like us. They're never going to be like us. You know, it's always like, I always think of Julia Roberts in the movie Best Friends when she's like, you're never going to be Jello. It's true. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know what else to add to this. I did have, oh, in the back I had a list. I don't want to share that list online. So I'm going to pull from that list and put stuff here for later. But I'm trying to think of what else I want to get done quickly, because this video is getting long. Let me know what you guys felt about Will Smith and Chris Rock. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson thing. I just learned also that they're making a Marilyn Monroe movie that's going to be rated NC-17, which I was like, oh. And I think the argument there was that, well, most things are going to go stream on some kind of network anyway, so what's the point of being afraid of the NC-17 rating, because they're going to have also full frontal nudity, which I know we're not very used to here in the US, but I watch a lot of other movies and shows in other countries, and they're just not shy about that kind of stuff. And maybe that's why I'm just not offended, because I've already been watching things that are similar to that. I don't know. I'm interested in what you guys think. But I'm telling you, my planning has been terrible because I've been distracted by all of the shiny things and the talking parts. Okay, so that is everything. I'm going to try and see if these sticky notes help me out, since I was too lazy to even draw some lines and fill out some things for last week, and see how that goes. Usually I set these little categories up: my events, book club, TVs and movies that I'm watching, books, projects, and I can also put those like here, just kind of write them out if I needed to, for each day, videos and other projects. But I'm gonna try this for this week. We'll see how it goes. Let me know what kind of ridiculous things you have watched in the past. Was it that tiger guy? Because I actually have never seen that. I still don't have any plans to watch that. I never watched Duck Dynasty either, because I'm just not interested in things that look kind of ridiculous like that. And I mean, potentially they're all sort of ridiculous, but it really wasn't for me. All right, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.